Okay, today's project, my 78 Triumph Spitfire. I'm going to convert the ugly looking 5 miles per hour impact bumpers and will convert that to the nice chrome or stainless steel bumpers from Bumper Automobile. And if you want to have any more details, contact Amy Nguyen. So that's why I ordered them. That's where I ordered them in Vietnam. They came here very nicely packed, and let's get started. So here you can see the nice new bumpers that I'm going to be mounting. So first of all, I have to take off the old bumper, and then I have to do some grinding work to take off the 5 miles per hour impact bumper fixtures. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so first I have to take off all these screws here. Last time when I actually removed the bumper, I already removed the front impact bumper, so that is already missing. But then I found out that I cannot just mount the chrome bumpers because I have to do some metal grinding work. Somebody was so kind to actually put an instruction into the internet, and that's how I found out that I have to do some work to it. But let's get started here first with this part. So I first have to remove these screws, and then on the side over there is one, and there's one here that I also have to remove. So after I've removed these screws here on the front, I'm now removing the side screws here that hold the side of the bumpers. So I'll do this on both sides. To get better access to the turn signals, which I have to remove, I close the hood again. So now I'm just taking off both turn signal lights. Put it down here. And these come off actually pretty easy later on. Just take out all the screws. One here. And once I slide the bumper to the front, you can just drop them back to the back. Be careful, the gasket here is a little bit messed up. It's an old car. And later on you can just slide that back in here again. Like this. Because they will later on be mounted here on these little horns. Okay. Now I removed all the screws, so now you can simply slide off the bumper. Beautiful, beautiful US export bumper. You can see I already have removed the main impact bumper. I will now be working on removing these two. They're held down here with screws on the back side. And also what I read in the internet is you can also remove this big beam. So I'm going to remove that also. I will first start removing here these little impact cushions, and then I will continue with the next step in my video. Okay. Okay, so now I already removed the little impact bumpers, and now what you see is a big metal plate. And the big metal plate actually will not allow you on the 78 model with this kind of version to mount the bumpers. So I will show you what the problem is. As these big metal plates are in the way, you will not be able to slide the bumpers over. So now what you need to do is you need to grind off these two big plates in the front. I leave the screws on here which hold the hood, that I can actually have a nice fixture here while I'm doing the grinding. It doesn't fall off. And then later on, I also have to cut off these top parts, one after the other. So I first will now start grinding off these big plates here in the front. Then I will open up the screws, take the plate off, and then I will start cutting here on the top these little things off. So that's a part that shouldn't be on here. which is on here only for the export models. So I will be taking that off. And then later on, I hope that I can fit these very nice little bumper covers here on here, which are ordered from Rimmers in UK. It says Bastuk underneath it. I don't know which way they have to go. I will see that later. So I will then try to put these on here as well, which are ordered, like I said, from Rimmers in the UK. Went pretty fast. They shipped it here to the States, to Texas, within about 5 days. So pretty reasonable actually compared to other offers. And like I said, within 5 days I had them from the UK here in Texas. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I covered up my hood a little bit here with a carpet so that the metal doesn't fly around onto my hood. I might have to rearrange that later on when I'm cutting off the rest of this metal blade. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to be cutting off the front part. Let's see how that works. Okay, so now what I did, I used the grinder actually to cut off this metal plate in the front. So I kept the screws on just to make sure it doesn't fly around all the time. So now I'm going to be removing these screws. And if I did everything right, voila! You see the big metal plate already came off. So now what I can do is I can first start taking this off, and I will be back in a second. Okay. Okay, so now I removed this beautiful looking metal plate. So I cut that off. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit later on. So because I still have to cut off here on the top, this top part. So I'm first going to put these screws back that my hood doesn't start shifting around. And once I've done that, then I will be marking here the cutting line of this. Maybe I take a saw, I'm not sure yet. Or I take the grinder as well. Okay. So now what I did is actually I drew a line along here and here and here. That's the line that I'm going to be using to cut off the excess metal to get the horns on. I want to see if that is maybe easier to cut the rest off with this one. Let's see how that works. If not, then I will continue working with my grinder. Okay. Okay, so what I've done now is, after removing these plates, putting back the screws, I started cutting off the first metal corner, that's the upper part here, and I did the same thing on the other side. I put a blanket actually and a towel actually on my hood because the piece of carpet that I had earlier was a little bit stiff. I couldn't really reach all these areas. So now I cut off this area, same thing here, this is the piece that I actually took off. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm a little bit cleaning up these little edges, and then I will be removing this big beam, because without removing the beam I cannot fit this big piece here, the bumper hood, over this, and then I have to see if I have to do something here with the spoiler on the bottom. So I will be now cleaning up these little areas here, and then I will be taking off this part which is done from the inside. I have to open up the hood, and then there's some screws that I can actually remove from the back side, and I take this entire metal beam off. Okay. Okay, so what I now did is actually I cleaned up a little bit the sharp edges here. to make sure that all the grinding work that I did before actually were a little bit cleaned up. And later on I also have to, of course, paint it. I got some spray paint and I'm going to do that later on. So first of all, what I'm going to be doing now is I first of all will open up the hood and then remove this big metal beam. Okay. Okay, so what I did now is actually remove the first screw on this side over here, and now I have to remove the other screw on this side, and then this entire metal beam can be removed. Okay. So what I just found out is that there's another little like a elbow here, and behind this elbow there's another screw that you have to remove. The upper one's already removed, so I cannot get it off unless I actually remove this one. So this one's already missing. Nice. So now I have to remove the one behind here. Okay. Okay, I just want to see if everything fits. As you can see, now that I removed these little metal pieces here and here and here, the bumper slides very, very nicely onto the car body. Like I said, also here from bumperautomobile.com, Amy Nguyen, the bumpers seem to be fitting very, very well. Just doing a quick first check, the bolts fit very nicely, so I'm now going to mount the bumper now. So what I also just now checked is these little horns that I want to mount, which go underneath here. So I just have to do a little bit of fiddling here. It's not final yet. I'm just checking how it fits. But what I also had seen is on these bumpers, if you turn it around, you can see that the fixtures here are already there for these little horns, and also here for the license plate. Very, very nicely, everything has been put in place. And here you can also see the side connections that go on the side of the little horns. Okay. Okay. I was thinking, how can I paint that without spray painting my entire car? Of course, I put a little blanket over my hood. Maybe that's kind of my German native kind of thinking, doing it a little bit over proper. So I just took a cardboard and cut it out, so now I don't get any spray paint all over my car, so I can actually then use it up, put it off again and put it on the other side. So I just have to, I don't have to wrap it up and stick it up and put blue tape all around it, so maybe it's a little bit easier. Okay. Okay, so I just used standard black primer, so since nobody will be seeing that later on when these bumper noses will be coming on. So I just used standard black primer, and now I will just paint it black and do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I haven't fixed it yet, but these little bumper horns now fit perfectly. Like I said, I painted a little bit black just to protect it. Push down a little bit here, and then now it will fit perfectly. These are, by the way, the short little bumper guards. Typically they have the long bumper guards, but at Rimmer in the UK, you can Google it, rimmer.com, you can buy the shorter ones. So, and I just checked, the holes fit perfectly underneath the bumper. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening up the hood, and then I will be tying down the bumper, and then I will be tying down the little bumper noses here. Okay. Okay, so I was actually ready. I got the bumpers mounted. What I can only recommend to the manufacturer is, since this is an aftermarket bumper, just make the screws a little bit longer, so I had a little bit improvise. But hey, you know, we're dealing with old cars and we improvise all day long, right? So what I noticed is I can fit this bumper guard actually very nicely over it, and it fits, but there's a little gap up here, so I don't like that. So what I have decided now is you could make it fit and you could make it look nice, but since I'm a perfectionist, I don't like it. That's why I now decide I'm going to cut off these little edges here on the bottom as well. That means I have the straight line from the original, also then going all the way around here. So I'm going to be cutting off this now and doing the same thing on the other side. Have to repaint it a little bit, but since I'm at this point, I want to make it perfect. So I will see how it fits after that, because you can see those scrape marks here in the bottom. That means it actually gets stuck here. So I hope when I cut this off that I can slide it up much nicer and put it on. You can already see these are the shorter ones, which are much nicer than the long ones. The long ones stick out really, really far. So Rimmers has these, and they look very, very nice. Okay, so let me cut that off and see how that works. Okay, like I just said, I was not happy about how these bumper horns were actually fitting here underneath the bumper itself. So I decided, like I said, I'm a perfectionist. I don't like this kind of fiddling around. So I cut off these little pieces here below to make a straight line from here all the way to the front. So underneath here there was also a little piece of an elbow. So this little elbow thing, I also cut that off. So now, voila! Now if I push this in here, it fits absolutely perfectly right underneath the bumper without a gap. Beautiful. So now I'm going to tie that down, and then I'm done with the front, and then I will just continue to mount back here the turn signal glasses, and then my front bumper project is done, and then I will be starting with the backside. Thank you. Okay, mission completed. So, conversion from 1978 US export impact bumpers to nice chrome or stainless steel highly polished bumpers from bumperautomobile.com, and nice little bumper horns in the front from Rimmer, and the conversions are completed. As you can see, the metal pieces that I had to remove are on the floor. So I wish you all the same kind of success. It works fine, takes a little bit, took me about 3 hours here and there, but all in all I think the success here and the looks is perfect. So good luck on your side, and maybe I can help you. I was able to help you with this video to show you what you need to do. So have fun and enjoy converting your car to chrome or stainless steel bumpers. Have fun. Thank you.